Hello everyone, my name is Lucarian, and today I will be talking about my top 10 favorite video game bosses. Now before I begin, I do not play a wide variety of video games, so if you do not agree with me, I do not want any nasty comments. They are just my own personal opinions. So let's begin. The Mario games have had some interesting bosses, such as an evil frog, head-shooting pink dinosaurs, and a bomb with a mustache, but none of them stack up to this boss. A soda. Yes, you heard me, a soda. Specifically, the Chocolator. I find this an interesting boss. I mean, think about it. Soda isn't intimidating. Putting fangs on it doesn't help, but Chocolator works. Also, early on, you couldn't use certain attacks. You couldn't jump on a spiked enemy, and you couldn't hammer a flying enemy. Chocolator has a shield, and hammer attacks don't do much damage. So you would think that you could only use jump attacks. Actually, you must destroy the shield with 3 or 4 good hammer strikes. This makes things easier. This is the first boss that actually takes longer to beat than the others, and when Chocolator shrinks down and Bubbles tries to heal him with jokes, it's time to hit him hard. He's not too tough, but fighting against Soda is just an interesting concept. As interesting as Chocolator is, this boss is even more interesting, and you won't believe it. A drill robot that raps. He's not the first boss that sings, but we won't talk about the other. He's not a dumb rap either. It's actually somewhat catchy. It's not something I'd put on my iPod though the bouncing head for the sing-along is quite cute. Like Chocolator, he's not too hard to take down, but the concept is just fun. And yes, I actually said fun. Now moving on. This doesn't apply to one fight, but actually 5. It's Chaos, probably the worst villain ever. In a good way. He tries a little too hard to be evil, which is the main source of his comic relief. It does get a little annoying talking about how evil he is, or how powerful the spell he's about to cast is, or how weak his minions are, but it's still funny. And yes, I actually said funny as well. On a difficulty level, he's on medium. Dodging his spells can be difficult, and his evil Skylanders are quite strong, but they're worth a lot of experience, which is good for leveling up. And when you have to face 3 evil Skylanders and dodge the spell, it's very hard. I recommend using a magic item like the Ghost Pirate Swords or Sparks to help you. And during the second half of the final boss, you have to dodge 2 spells while attacking Chaos' floating platform. So this boss is both challenging and fun. Yes, you heard me right. The Fossil Spiders is another Pokemon copy, like Bakugan, Digimon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! It's still enjoyable. I'm not trying to say fun. Ruins my serious image. It's not very hard, but then comes Zonga. A bouncing skull. Not too creepy. A skeleton zombie T-Rex. Yep, that would do. He's pretty powerful and knows attacks like Law of the Jungle and Ghost King. But the real pain comes from the 2 Z-Rexes helping him. Z-Rexes are basically zombie T-Rexes. This might frighten some young children. They have very good support status effects, which is bad for you. Each one can slash your defense, speed, and accuracy down by 40%. And with 2 of them, you don't need good support status effects to help. Or just use a Venusaur in the support zone. Not only that, but they can resurrect themselves if you don't end this fight soon after you defeat them. Fossil Fighters Champions is a fairly easy game, but the final boss is much more difficult, and I commend this boss because of it. It's typical for a final boss to take longer to defeat than a normal boss. However, together, the Princess Shroops are the longest bosses I've ever faced. Round 1 is the younger Princess Shroop, who sits on a floating platform with an energy bubble around it. I recommend getting rid of it by using the Copy Flower, because you can score dozens of hits quickly. It comes back after a few turns, so use your powerful attacks while you can. On and off her platform, Princess Shroob's attacks are fast, including lasers, stars, and energy balls. Round 2 is against her older sister, literally called Elder Princess Shroob. Her attacks depend on how much UFOs are out, but with Peach's help, you can get rid of a few of them, although sometimes it's hard to aim. Princess Shroob has a lot of HP, and it doesn't help later on when she drinks alien smoothies to heal herself. I don't know what's in them, and I do not think I want to know. After you get rid of all of her HP, you think it's over? No. Next, she turns into an even more ugly creature, and much more difficult. First, you must get rid of the tentacles, and then you must damage the head. I recommend using the Bros flower for this. Once you hurt them enough, her crown is vulnerable, so hit her as hard as you can until her limbs and head heal up, and then you must repeat. Even if you beat every enemy you see throughout the entire game, it still takes over a half hour to beat the entire boss. It's somewhat annoying, but it's also something to be marveled at. In all honesty, I've only played one game in the Mega Man Battle Network series, and it was very difficult, mostly because I did not understand proper chip folder packing at the time. Base GS is easily one of the hardest bosses in Battle Network 3. A lot of bosses had something to protect them, and at times it was very annoying. Metal Man had metal gears, Bubble Man had bubbles and a rock, King Man had chess pieces, Desert Man had sand columns in his hands. One of the most annoying was Flame Man, who had candles that could make fireballs, make him invincible, or heal him. Almost as annoying was Drill Man, who had his own head. Alpha had his body, and Serenade had his hair. Seriously, is it just me, or does he look more like a woman? What does Base have? An aura. The GS version has a 200 HP aura, and you either must use an attack that can deal that much damage, or you must use a Northwind chip to take it out. 200 HP. Holy cow. And yes, I said that. Wait a minute. How can a cow be holy? No, forget it. Even after you get rid of his aura, he has fast and powerful attacks. His most powerful, Banishing World, dealing 500 HP. Holy crap. Wait, how can a crap be... Oh, forget it. Fast-drawn attacks and an aura make him very difficult to beat, especially since the game encourages you to delete your enemies quickly. And then there's Base Omega. But GS is hard enough, plus it's a generic version of Base Omega, so that's why he makes this list. Spectro's Origins has some very powerful bosses, which is the main motivator to train and level up your Spectros, which can be a good thing, but also a tad bit annoying. The last few bosses are very hard, but these two take up the spot. Terragan and Crux. First up is Terragan, who's very powerful. One of its most powerful attacks is its dash attack, because if you get hit, you fall on the ground, and it takes a few seconds to get up. But chances are, it'll hit you again before you even have a chance to get up. So that's most likely going to take out at least one of your Spectros. After you beat it, Terragan, Crux comes out to fight. He's not only powerful, but he teleports around. So only use a special attack until you're sure he's not going to move for at least a minute. Or you'll miss and it'll be a waste, especially if it's a very powerful attack. I recommend using Zapazor or Leozar because their special attacks can deal a bunch of damage. Swift, powerful, and tough, Crux and Terragan deserve this spot. Absolutely. In all honesty, I've never played Batman Arkham City, but I watched this fight on YouTube, and I thought it deserved some credit. This boss is Clayface. It's not the fight that makes it get this place, although it's very interesting, but it's the events before and after that make it this great. First of all, it's a twist. You've followed Joker for a while now, and then you find out that it's a fake. Second, you've known for a while that Joker is dying, and in the end, that's what happens. He dies. Now, many people were probably thinking Batman will cure him in the end, but no. It's a shocking truth that Joker is dead that gets number 3. Now, there are rumors of a sequel, so he'll most likely come back then. But until then, we just have this. Mario and Luigi have faced ghosts before, but this is the first truth ghost they fought. I'm talking about Cacaletta's. Why is she number 2? Well, for one reason, she's been mocking you since the beginning of your adventure, taking you off, so it's finally nice to be able to put her down. After taking down Boletta pretty easily, for those who don't know, Boletta is basically Cacaletta taking over Bowser's body. Yeah, I'm not sure whether that's supposed to be. No, I won't get into that. But after you beat her, she blows you up, and then she eats you. It's somewhat disturbing to find out that you've actually survived digestion. Setting up a precedent for all the final bosses in the Mario & Luigi RPG series, you must get rid of all of her body parts before her heart opens up for attack. Use Mario's Firebrand for a right hand and Luigi's Thunder Hand for a left. Then you can attack the head, and then you can attack the heart. Soon after the heart explodes, all of her other body parts come out, but they're not too much of a worry, at least until the heart closes up and then you must start over. Usually, the Thunder Bros attack lowers the defense, but it won't work here, so taking her down is going to take a while, although the red pepper helps. She also has some intense attacks, such as swirling flames, rotating arms, and lasers that freeze a screen before she fires them. Even though I really like this boss, there's still one more to come. Alright, so let's review. Number 10 is Chocolator. Number 9 is Drillex. Number 8 is Chaos. Number 7 is Zonga Zonga. Number 6 are the Princess Shroods. Number 5 is Base GS. Number 4 are Terragan and Crux. Number 3 is Clayface. Number 2 is Cacaletta's Ghost. So who's number 1? It's Cheesecake. What the? Alright, who's the one who wrote this script?
I did donkey, I put the cheesecake, Oppa donkey style, Oppa donkey style, yeah. I'm okay. Now, if you would be so kind as to give me my cheesecake, I would be on my way.
Number 1 is Blue, aka Gary, aka John, I believe, aka the infinite number of names you can give him. Heck, you can even name him Dingbat and he wouldn't mind. Much. He's not too hard to beat, so why is he number 1? Well, like Cacaletta, he's been at your heel ever since you started your adventure. According to Professor Oak, ever since you were toddlers. He's been ever persistent, challenging you at every single turn, and losing, but never admitting defeat. When you finally beat the Elite Four, it's easy to get ticked off to hear that Blue beat you to it. In fact, he's the only rival in this series to do this. His team is well balanced, although I'm not sure why he chose a coconut tree for his grass type. Seriously, Victory Bell is much more intimidating. Unless you chose Squirtle, now Blastoise, then he'd use Venusaur. Speaking of starters, if your starter manages to land the final blow on his, which is stronger, it's quite satisfying. That's not the only reason why this fight gets this spot. After losing number 1 to you, and a word from Oak, Blue becomes humbled. And in Gold and Silver, when you fight him as the last gym leader in Kanto, you see that he's a changed boy, which is nice to see. Also, the Pokemon games are just plain fun. This running gag is starting to get annoying. So, the winner is Blue. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. What, do you think that I'm gonna do something humorous now that we're at the end? This isn't all comedy, you know. I must find a new YouTube channel.